sounds like Natter Splat, bitch.
Natter Splat.
Natter Splat.
Natter Splat.
Natter Splat. Natter Splat. Natter Splat.
Natter Splat.
Today we will be discussing the flat earth theory. Are you ready for that?
Ready to listen to you talk about flat Earth? Yeah.
No. Not just that, but what do you think about the flat earth theory? Do you think it's just complete nonsense? Like, have you watched some of the videos and been like,
Do you mind if I just start off on, begin a tangent instantly?
Go ahead.
I have an alternate conspiracy theory. I tend to really believe that most flat earthers don't believe really what, and they started years ago as like trolls, and they get into it. Like, it's like they have to prove it to themselves, like get the closest, but they really not deep down, they don't believe it. That's my...
Oh, that's what you think.
They're either
okay.
trolling or they're just in such denial that they kind of go with it. But if you...
But part of them doesn't really like commit to the idea all the way.
There was that flat earther. He went up on a rocket, his own made rocket, and he died. Because
Probably.
he launched a few rockets to prove, from a height he could see something. And on his second rocket, he went up there with a parachute. But it went wrong. What was his name? Hughes? Mike Hughes?
I don't know. I've never
And he was like a famous flat earther, and he did something that's pretty mad. But
That's pretty mad.
I don't want to put the whole thing on him.
Who the fuck goes up in a rocket that they built?
I don't want to put the whole thing on him. What do I think about it? I think extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Sure.
And that is an extraordinary claim just by my own observations. So if you start at the base level, when I'm talking about me, of course it's wrong because I've been told that. I mean, from what I've seen myself, being on an aeroplane, seeing how it works, looking out of a window, the whole journey. So I haven't been to Australia. I don't know if it really exists, but the idea that you can see the curve, you can see rainbows that work with physics. All of the physics I've been told seem to match up with my empirical data. Mm-hmm. Not just people have told me. My empirical data shows me that the Earth is round and everything else is around. So the claim to explain that must be extraordinary with the evidence that comes with it. And I've watched a few things. I watched just listening to them talk, and I can see where they're coming from with some things and other... But ultimately...
No, some of those facts that they bring up and some of the proofs that they do, it really does make you scratch your head a little and
Well, it's an interesting sort of cognitive exercise, but I just haven't seen... I mean, I've seen them fail and go, oh, well, that's to be expected. It's just, I don't really understand.
Why do you think that there's no public... But, you can't just go to Antarctica? Why do you think that is?
Because it's really difficult, I think.
But, isn't it not so far away from South America?
I think if you wanted to go to Antarctica, I think you do. I just think there is a gatekeeper.
There was, a guy that broke down, the thing on, being able to... He was like, all right, we're going to look up and see if we can actually go to Antarctica. And you have to get approval from any country that you might pass through there, which is, a bunch of them. And there's just, this rigorous process to even go there personally.
What do you mean countries?
Because there's a bunch of countries that have staked claim to the Antarctic.
Right.
So there's and you have to get because they have a treaty deal signed, you have to get approval by
Well, I thought UN or NATO, probably the UN, it's agreed that Antarctica is unowned land. I thought that's how it was.
Really?
And while some countries might say yes, but it's so kind of useless as a place that people don't put things there. I don't, unless they're hiding something.
No, everybody has a bunch of significant countries stake a claim there, except for Russia. Russia does not actually.
That they put a flag on the
Yeah,
bottom of the North
because they
Pole or something
went there, apparently.
with a submarine.
Whoa.
Yeah, and put the flag underneath the ice.
Yeah.
Um,
Just because it's like really inhospitable environments. But like when they were going through like the whole thing on like trying to go there, there is like such a rigorous process. And like why?
Okay.
Like if you want to be like a self-proclaimed like archaeologist.
okay, let's not get too distracted. How the hell does the sun and the moon work in a flat Earth's universe? What's happening?
I've seen that diagram that they do where it like okay, so it's flat and then it spins around like the border. So then when it's over here, you're not going to see it over here anyway. So it's all kind of the same. So it looks like it's rising in the east and setting in the west all the time because it's going that direction anyway. Versus south is just always that direction and north is in the middle. So then that is in theory how that can work. And which is like a kind of sound like
I don't think that made any
idea.
sense.
Why?
Because you said it's going round. On a flat, you can go to the North Pole and see the sun barely move as if you were on a globe. And now that you're at the further north, you can see that you're not seeing as much rotation as the sun. And then you go down to the equator and you can see the sun move in a virtually straight line across
what
the
they
sky.
say, like when
and
they
I've
say
seen
flat
that.
Earth, they're saying it's like half of an Earth essentially. Like there's only one side to it. So and there is some curvature to it. So it's like on a flat disc and like a curved plate, like almost like a serving plate or something like that. So it is like that. So if the sun is going around this way, like I could see in theory how that could work. And then the north just being in the middle. So, and that's why compasses would work that way. Because if you take a magnet and put it down on a table and then you move it around, it will continue to rotate towards the magnet in the middle. So then that's always north if it's magnetic north, which is how we use compasses.
I don't know how anyone believes this stuff. I don't mind being open-minded to things. I think if you're one of those people who just hears flat Earth and goes and yet you don't know anything, I think you should open your mind and go, okay, let me question this. What have I seen? What proves it? At least be open-minded to everything you hear. Yeah. So I'm not just gonna laugh about it, but from what I've seen and what I've thought about it, I have not seen any evidence unless there's such a larger conspiracy at play to suppress and hide, data, which I know happens in certain industries. I just can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. And it would be against my lying eyes, and...
No, like I have planets tattooed on my hips, but there is one thing too, like I don't know, they do make some compelling arguments though. I like following the flat earth theory because
the people like you, mad people, and you're like, these are my people.
No, because I don't believe it. I don't.
Exactly. Proving my goddamn conspiracy. All these people, it's like got 70,000 members. They're all people like, I don't believe it. I'm just trying to find someone. And I thought the Flat Earther Society,
No, like I like to follow it because of like how compelling the arguments can be though. So that makes it very entertaining and like just to see another idea for things.
Can you make one of these compelling arguments? Like what is the thesis of it?
I saw a good one the other day, a little documentary a guy did. And it was the one where he like breaks it all down too. He's like, "This is how you try to get to Antarctica. Like, I'm gonna try to do my best." And like, I'll try to find it and post it with this.
And what do the flat Earthers want us to do?
Wait. What if they're right? What if we are on a flat Earth or a half dome?
But the moon is still spherical. And the planets are, and the sun. They're still spherical objects.
But have you ever really seen them with your own eyes?
Don't look at the sun with your own eyes.
So?
No, but what I mean is, are they as well? Like, what's the world unifying theory? Is
I guess
everything
those
a
could
disc, or
be
is just
placed
Earth
satellites.
a disc?
Those could be placed satellites.
So they say that the sun could be... it does heat the whole planet, though. It's a big planet, right? So
do heating lamps. When you hatch
so
eggs.
there's a heating lamp the size of the sun, or the intensity of the sun.
So other than that, like what would you do if like we were on there? And like, because like, have you ever seen like the rings of Saturn with your own eyes?
I would calm all the climate change crazies and just turn the dimmer switch down a bit if I had a lamp instead of a sun, you know?
But would that like completely like shake you to your core reality if you were to wake up tomorrow and there was to be like
Shocking evidence.
Yeah.
So you're saying this is the argument that when something is so absurd as to be shocking and mind blowing, obviously you're going to be disincentivized from realizing that. Yeah, I'd be a little shocked if I found out the sun was a fucking lamp. Yeah. What sort of fucking question is that? Yeah, I'd be a little perturbed, maybe. I'd be asking where to write my strongly worded letter to. I don't know.
Because then, like, what does that like mean in the end? Does that mean we're just like animals in a cage, like an ant farm?
Well, at least we've got a lamp. That's what you
So
do.
do they? Like, and you turn it on and off.
This has gone beyond flat Earth.
No, it's not.
So this is part of the flat Earth, or some of the theories. That
Yeah,
the sun
because
and
I
the
wonder
moon
what
are
their
real.
like their end in sight is.
What's
and,
the
like,
moon for?
Oh, harvesting stuff, obviously.
This sauna's starting to take on a really different vibe. Do you know what I mean? It felt relaxing before, and now it's like a prison of my own design. This is...
Like,
It's all just too mad. It's all just too ridiculous.
Is your Earth flattening out as we're in
it
here?
takes credibility away from everything else that you could talk about that are real and serious things that are dark and hidden, and people maybe want to hear them. And then if your next breath is in the flat Earth thing, it's like it does take credibility away, or at least with me it does, because it's like I'm willing to believe some things, but it's too much. And it's like all of these people, there's thousands of them. They could be crowdfunding and they could be doing all sorts of experiments. And what I could get HD footage from a balloon that goes up and floats for like 2 months over the Earth. You know what I mean? Navigating throughout the clouds. Yeah, it's a pretty hard mission, but why not do it? Why not crowdfund and get They won't do it. Because you know what they'll see? The goddamn curvature of the Earth. And then they have to explain that, and they have some bullshit for explaining the curvature too, right? About perspective or God knows what.
okay.
But what they're saying is go up there, see for yourself, and then when they do, they go, classic. The old fake the curve. Yep, expected it all along. It's like there's always another level. It never ends.
Do you think we've been to the moon?
The timing of the moon landing was very suspicious, and would a nation lie to win a space race that was ultimately an ideological war? I think they would.
Right.
But did they?
Because why have we been to the space station and not the moon?
The moon's a lot harder to get to than the space. There's a lot of things. I've seen people argue about space things. And while there's some credibility to being suspicious about certain videos and certain aspects of moon landing, why that's having an open mind, a lot of people just use wrong physics.
Mm.
So, for example, Elon Musk putting the Tesla into space. Whether you think that's real or fake, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that people were arguing that the tires would explode because of the vacuum of space. And I don't think the physics bear that out, because they can sustain air pressure on Earth. And they can do the negative air pressure in space. But it's just something that people take for granted, like, this would happen. Well, you don't even know they're filled with air. It might be rubber.
Yeah,
It might be
I was
rubber
gonna say, I
tires.
feel like I heard that they were
And it's
rubber.
kind of like just, yes, you could say that's the excuse, but the point is, it's not a strong enough argument. And you hear a lot of things that just aren't strong enough arguments. But there's some shots and some things that do seem strange, even how the astronauts move, but you have to take into account how the suits are made and and how things work. It's not as simple as, oh, that looks off.
Do you think we have actual footage of people in space?
I can't see why not, because we have satellites, and my experience seems to show that we have satellites, unless they're lying about entirely how technology works. So if you can put satellites, you can put larger things. You can make a space station. It's not so big. It's a few pods put together. It's like big satellites, right? That builds and grows. It's in low Earth orbit. It's pretty low. I can't see why not. I can't see why that would be such a big thing, knowing what I know about technology and what's possible.
And
Putting
Earth's
something-
orbit
put
is just
something in-
that like sound that it keeps it for.
Well, I just think Earth orbit is easy compared to anything else. You know, putting something in Earth orbit is... I can't see why they'd fake it. Because you can do it.
Yeah, they do that with satellites. So.
Right, and they have to do it with satellites, otherwise now you're explaining how not only do cell phones and things work.
No, I'm more curious about people specifically, like when they're going out on their spacewalks.
I think there'll be some spin because after the space race, people were interested, and when they were getting better videos, they'd do the first spacewalk or something, right? And people want to see that, and it's cool because you get to see the Earth in the background. And they basically would have had a media team, and then the lines started blurring between mission and PR, but they know that the mission is PR. So if nothing goes wrong, the astronauts will say, we're going on at 9. That's our mission time, because they know that it's going to be filmed. And so the lines could be getting blurred, but I don't think they would just fake it. But maybe they enhance and color correct.
I don't know, like from like a lot of the things that I've been looking up lately is I very well think we might not have been to space. Like,
At all.
Like people. Like I do believe we could have tried, but I don't think so. I think like after like America faked it, they just they're like, this is a redonkulous project anyway. Like, are we really gonna be like going into space? Like, that's cool for the future of mankind, I guess, but like I think that is an extraordinary thing to do, and I don't know, there's a lot of proofs. Like, if there wasn't so many fake fucking videos of it, I want to believe that we've been to space, but like there's just it's been debunked so many times in so many different ways, you know? Like, you see astronauts in giant tubs of water, you see space bubbles, they say, like, in the media, like they're adding snorkels to the moon suit.
That's just media bullshit, writing nonsense, surely. Snorkels. What do you mean they're adding
But those
snorkels?
are real things that have been published from NASA to the media for things.
The NASA said the word snorkels.
I do believe so. I do believe I would have to check like that, but that has been like they have added that to spacesuits.
Well, I guess a snorkel is something that just gets through liquid, right? But it just sounds ridiculous because people imagine them with the thing sticking out of their helmet. But what it means surely is like a tube inside their mouth that always connects to their breathing module, right? That's going to be what it is.
I don't know.
It means
the
that
article.
because of the drowning thing or water in space, like it's because of all the condensation that they're breathing, if they've got the full open mask, is gathering. There's no outlet. So if they're sweating, and guess what? You sweat a little when you're fucking on the outside of an international space station fixing shit. It's like you sweat and it all builds up. And because there's no gravity, it doesn't go down. It starts just accumulating on your face. And you can have water here building up on your face like this. Just
Then what do you
like
say about okay, so obviously we know the first trip to space was probably fudged because they even said like when they were up in space, it was the blackest sky they had ever seen. But then later, astronauts started saying, you see more stars than you've ever seen before. So like that debunks the first one like a little bit, right?
No, it doesn't. This is another thing about
So then why do old astronauts and new astronauts have different...
Okay, listen, if you go... so the shots from the moon, and they said, look at this doesn't make sense, right? Because it's different with the stars. And it's as simple as if you go out on a dark night and you look out, can you see the stars? And it's like, yes, but if it's the daytime, can you? No, because there's more light. So if you're standing in an environment with light, then you're not going to see them at all. And the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, so you don't see the blue. But essentially, when you've got photography equipment and you're taking pictures on the moon, it's either dark, and even if it's dark, you're using flash equipment. You can't see the stars on the cameras. So there's like a lot of different times, and people
Why
just say
does the moon
like,
have different rules than the Earth does?
it doesn't have an atmosphere.
So then you would see things better.
Yeah, you'd see the stars much more clearly when the sun wasn't reflecting on the moon, or maybe you had an eclipse where it was behind the sun. Then maybe you'd see it better. I don't even know exactly how it would work.
But like
where
we
you
have
to
the sun in the same proximity as the moon, and we can see the stars like sometimes, and we can't see them other times. But they just said space was black. It's true. They did. And then the narrative changed.
the narrative on space. Mm-hmm. What's the end goal?
Because people you want to see pictures out of the windows of the space station, right? And those have changed over time as well. And NASA got caught for changing the sizes of the continents in different pictures over the years that were released of the Earth. Things weren't always as they should be. Why would NASA have wrong photos of things?
Well, how the fuck do we know what space photos are supposed to look like? The Earth's flat, apparently. How do you get into space?
Yeah, but then why did the continents change size?
Can we fall off a flat Earth?
I think there's going to be a wall or something. I think like that Simpsons episode
Who built the wall?
Where they're all in the dome.
Who built the wall?
Maybe the gods. Because maybe they're just we're just a game for them. Where we are like an ant farm.
Uh-huh. Just put in.
Yeah. No?
We can't get out. And we can't see where we are. Just blackness.
Except for what they're allowing us to see. Because, have you ever seen the rings of Saturn? Have you ever seen, the actual colors of the planet?
I'm pretty sure you can see the rings of Saturn if you go by a telescope. I mean, that would be
I have done that, and you can't. And, I've seen, what they bring up as argument for things. You just see, balls of light. Which, they are balls of gas. So, that wouldn't be that far off. And, how good would our microscopes be to be able to see it? The only thing I've seen through a microscope or a telescope is, the moon. But you would need to go into a serious place to be able to see the other ones, and you would need access to that. You would need privied access, and that's not accessible to everybody, I don't believe. Have you ever seen it? I haven't, and I have them tattooed on my leg. This is really personal for me. The greatest illusion, when people I've thought about.
Don't say shit about Saturn, man. Take a person.
I've thought about people if in the future when they ask me what is your tattoo? It's the greatest illusion ever told.
So dramatic. Settle down and settle in. I'm gonna tell you. I just asked you about your tattoo, man. Leave me alone. Stop atting me. Okay, this is too much. This is too much. We're 20 minutes in, and I'm overwhelmed, so I don't know what to.
So we'll stop here for flat Earth, and have we been to the moon? I think people in space is very questionable. I think that's incredibly questionable. I don't know about flat Earth, but space, people in it, I don't know. It's very questionable.
Does it not require some diplomacy between different nations to do that because of the different programs? Russia isn't outing America and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
And every private...
Yeah, but there's a giant world cabal happening anyway, so you're going to say they're not all, in cahoots?
Uh-huh. What's the end game then with space? What's the end game? Why not just crush it?
I did hear a theory that they are going to... that's why they're slowly leaking all of the alien stuff and saying that is because they're going to fake an alien invasion this year. Just with the coronavirus, they blew it out of proportion. And then that's going to be another way to detain people, is to fake an alien invasion.
I think we need to remember to talk about this in 1 year's time, because either that's ridiculous or...
We should just call this episode Conspiracies.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Conspiracies.
Because then, okay, what do you think about aliens? Do you believe in extraterrestrials? Probably, of course, right? There's a possibility.
Right, of course. The universe is big.
But do you think they interact with our planet?
I have seen no reason to think they do now. I'm more inclined to believe that they could have in the past. Then that's more likely than they're doing it now. But still, I'm leaning towards no, because it's, again, such a huge claim.
I lean towards yes, and I feel like the evidence is us and is within us because we are such a, like, there is a missing link there, and that, like, I do believe we're an altered living species for sure. And I don't want to go any further than that from other people, but from the previous, I would like to think more divine beings. Yes, I think that we are altered living beings.
23andMe can start adding alien to their DNA profile. We'll get a sponsorship.
So, yes, I, like you said, I believe in aliens in the past. I believe in ancient aliens for sure, but currently no. But I do think that it is a huge possibility that because they have been like releasing like an odd amount of stuff about it lately, you know. So I feel like aliens could be just around the corner. Like, I didn't
Prepping
think
for
I'd see
aliens.
this COVID stuff happen and lockdowns in my time of entire nations in the world. And look what happened, you know? Like I never thought this would happen in my lifetime. Now I'm expecting everything to happen in my lifetime. Like, I'm ready to see all of it.
Bring the aliens.
Right? Bring
Yeah,
it
but
on.
it is worth noticing that you've thought you've seen aliens before. And look, who am I to say that they weren't aliens? But my scientific approach did seem to explain exactly what you'd seen. And what
Okay,
she'd
but
seen.
in my defense, I did see a redonkulous amount of satellites, and it was very unusual.
So she calls me up. She's
Convinced.
incandescent with confusion and joy and bewilderment. And she's convinced she's seen aliens. Me, a skeptic, said I'd get back to her. Just I had to go. She was very convincing that I had to look into this. So I did. And it appeared that that's when Starlink was going over her. The SpaceX project about low orbit
Like, how you were
satellites.
able to find out, like, the exact shit about it, like,
So at
really
least
gave it
they give you warning that it's not aliens. They said, maybe you don't believe that it is what it says it is, but it wasn't aliens. Probably it was Musk. I'm just saying. So, like full disclosure, sometimes I think you're looking for aliens. I think sometimes you jump to conclusions about what is an alien and what is a satellite. So I've got an open mind, but I'm also not gonna.
No, that was an extenuating circumstance. That was outrageous to see. Like, I never go and, like, walk along the coast, and then I decided to, and then I saw that. Like, 30 streaming lights, like, going through the sky. Like, what am I supposed to think?
I guess. I mean, it's
And
fair.
I'm a skeptic about everything. Like, I have an overly open mind when it comes to most things.
Sometimes you just don't apply Occam's razor. Like, you'll go straight to the most ridiculous.
So, ancient aliens, yes. Current aliens, not so much. Future aliens? I hope so.
I'd like us to be the aliens. You know,
We are, though.
who visit people and like go, hey, look, we're the aliens. Instead of imagining aliens
Yeah, but then
coming
we're going to have
us.
to go beyond the technologies that we have here. Like, the technologies we have here, I feel like, are completely moot for that kind of thing. Like,
I don't
feel
know.
like...
This new computer's pretty tight.
But, like, I feel like that's transcendence to what you're talking about, which is beyond our earthly abilities at the moment, currently. Maybe not always.
I feel like this was one of the most structured conversations we've had, but still totally not structured at all. Like, is this...
We didn't veer off the topics too much.
But I still don't feel like I got to the bottom of any... I'm not sure I learned anything. And often I do learn something when I talk to you. You know that. I know you won't take it too harshly. I'm just not sure I've learned anything.
Sometimes you just have to discuss things. Flat Earth, going to space, aliens.
How does it all fit together? Well, this is the point. This is the point if you're just rolling your eyes at this. The point is that between all of the things you've just said, something's dishonest. Like, within there's some conspiracy or some lie or something that's been shielded from you. For sure. And the question is, which aspect of it? And you know from your data that governments lie all the time. So the chances are that some things are missing one of those things. It's just maybe or probably not all of them. Not every single thing is a lie. Like Earth's round, nope. Sun's the sun, nope. Moon's just a big rock, nope. It's for gathering and harvesting something.
Metals, yeah.
Metals.
Just like the Earth for its metals and gold.
Aliens, of course. When? All the time.
No. In the past. Will that be enough for now?
I mean, I feel like this will be one. I'll have to name this something so I can come back to it with proofs, as you like to say.
Proofs of conspiracy, like of complete conspiracies, because like there's some conspiracies that I don't think should be labeled as such, but then like this is.
Well, there's some things like this episode I've come across a very skeptic, but there's some things that I have no doubt about. If you watch the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
Just watch it
what I mean.
in slow motion. Just watch it and tell me something really weird isn't happening.
Yeah.
Something really weird and you're being lied to. Like, no doubt, and I'll put a specific one. That's for sure. The rest, it's just so mind-boggling. See you later.
Bye.
If you made it through an entire episode of Nattersplat, well done you. You can find more of us all over the internet and at nattersplat.com. See you later.